All right, I made 2.5 K roughly around today, and I'm going to show you quickly how I did that. All right, so first things first, coming into our day, we want to see on the daily chart, we want to understand our higher time frame bias. So when I was coming to the day, initially I was thinking like, okay, we could be definitely going like short, or no, sorry, long. But then I looked more into our day, and I noticed like, okay, our bias wasn't 100% what was going to happen today. So I was looking at, okay, boom, we have this daily gap here that we disrespected, and that we're going to push higher through that. But no, that wasn't the case. All right, just because we're pushing through it doesn't mean we're pushing lower from it. All right, so then I'll hop on the 4 hour. What else did I see? I seen that we had these gaps down here. We had sell side liquidity that we potentially wanted to take out. We had a lot of draws telling us we're going to push lower. Drop down to the 1 hour now. Again, more just understanding discretion. This is discretion. Half of your whole, everything you're doing in the charts, half of it is not even looking for your model. Half of it is discretion. Half it's your model. All right. So I was looking at sell side liquidity here. Sell side liquidity here. All right. What else do we have? We had news yesterday. We had a 10 a.m. low. It was orange folder news low that we did not take out yet. We did not take out that low. So now I can drop down. We didn't have anything on the 15-minute, so I dropped down to the 5-minute. All right. So again, on the 5-minute, same thing. We see the sell side liquidity levels more detailed. Like we dropped down to a lower time frames for precision in the markets. So we've seen these lows here. Boom. Beautiful draw liquidity, 10 a.m. low down here. We could have even took out these lows here. Of course, we didn't. We happened to chop, and we might take that out tomorrow. And again, think about yesterday. We had a huge push higher. We see this huge push higher. What does that mean now? We have a whole lot of room for relief. We have a lot of relief due in the market. What does that mean? We can definitely be pushing lower. But before we push lower, we have to take out draw liquidity to induce that move lower. All right? That draw liquidity pushes that move lower. All right, liquidity drives the market. You need to remember that the whole everything I trade based upon liquidity levels, basically. All right. Oh, the light turned on. Beautiful. All right. Now I look white. That's amazing. All right. Anyways, now dropping down. General analysis on the 5-minute. I'm looking for my model to play out. All right. So boom, we have clear buy side, clear sell side level. All right. Clear buy side, clear sell side level forms accumulation. I'm looking for AMD. My base model is AMD. Sorry. All right. Base model is AMD. All right. So we are on the 5-minute. We see that we have accumulation level. All right. Manipulation level higher. We want to validate it by taking out a key level liquidity. All right. As we're pushing lower, we want to see a form of change in state to confirm that we're going to push lower. We are pushing so much higher today that there was a good chance we could have just had pushing higher, and we did. We eventually did, but we knew we were going to see some point of retracement lower because literally back to the basics, bro. Back to the freaking basics. What is trend? Trend consists of extensions and retracements. You need extension, retracement, extension, retracement, extension. All right, higher highs, lower highs, higher highs, lower highs. This is the simplest, bro. You think of basketball players, NBA players. They're not good because they're adding all this other stuff in. They're good because they're focusing on the basics of what they're doing. They master the basics. And once you master the basics, you can understand the market way better. Way better. All right. So what are we looking for now? We see accumulation, manipulation. What's next? Distribution. It's been happening for the last 20 years. It's not ICT. ICT does claim power of 3 model, but if you actually do research, half of you guys don't even do research. You just ask, bro. You ask, and don't do your own research. That's why you're unprofitable, bro. That's why you're not getting to where you want to be in trading, because you're not taking initiative for yourself to understand what you want to understand, bro. Put in the hours, bro. Do the research, because people who are at the level that they are at right now, they didn't just ask their way to the top. Yes, ask questions. Put yourself out there, but don't rely on other people to learn what you want to learn, bro. Take action. Do it yourself, bro. Learn, bro. All right. Besides that point, let's get back to the model. We're looking for that distribution move. All right. What do I need to confirm change in state? I need 2 equal lows. We drop down on the 2-minute. I only see change in state on the 2-minute or the 5-minute. All right. So coming into here, we've seen a couple failed change in states. We want to keep that in mind. All right. But we did eventually see this level of change of state. We see 2 equal lows here. That confirms change of state direction. We mark out the lowest equal low because that's our confirming low. That's our confirming low that we want to see a breakout of, not only on NQ but ES as well. We need to see change of state direction on ES and NQ in order for that to be a confirmed change in state direction towards, in this case scenario, the downside. All right, so boom, we have that. Now, what are we looking for after we displace from that low? We're looking for our retracement into a 5-minute order block. All right, we have that retracement into a 5-minute order block right up here. We have a 5-minute order block, and I'm marking this out before I even see it. Half of you guys are waiting and missing the moves because you're just waiting too long, bro. Be proactive. You already know what you're supposed to look for, so look for it before it even happens, all right? So, but don't take action on it before it happens. There's a difference. There's a difference. You don't want premature moves because premature moves cause for invalidation, all right, or just a loss. All right, so boom, 2-minute. We see 2-minute displacement, retracement into a 5-minute order block right here. This was the line, top step. For some reason, I think it's a glitch, but you can mark out something on a 5-minute, but if you drop down on like the 1 minute or a lower time frame, it won't show. So here on the 2-minute, this look at this line right here, this thicker blue line, that's where we had the 5-minute order block. All right, we're tracing the 5-minute order block. Now look at the 1 minute. Look at the 1 minute. We want to see 1 minute momentum in our direction because no model is 100% going to happen all the freaking time, bro. You have to understand that, bro. That's why I need to see momentum in the direction that we want to go towards, because we could have definitely took out this buy side liquidity. It was right here and we eventually did. We had this high, we could have taken out. There was so many things that we could have taken out, but we didn't. All right, so keep that in mind. As we're pushing lower now, we see that momentum. Momentum's within these 2 gaps right here. Ignore the SMT. I was just seeing if we had an SMT there, but we didn't. All right, there was no SMTs today. Boom. We disrespected us taking out this minor buy side liquidity that we had, and we started to push lower. All right, we see confirmation. This is confirmation right here in its finest. We see 2-minute change of state direction, valid retracement to a 5-minute PD array, push lower, 1 minute momentum into the direction we want to go to. Now we enter. We don't enter with the max amount of cons that we want to enter in, though. We enter with 1 contract because today you have to look at market conditions, and this goes into market discretion. If you're not looking at your market conditions, that's a no. That's no bueno. All right, because today was a choppy day. As you've seen, we had a low volatility because we had no news. But that's one thing a lot of traders also misunderstand. Just because we have no news, that does not mean not to trade that day. That means to be cautious, right? Understand your market conditions and change your leveraging so it fits those market conditions. Boom. Pushing lower. We enter in a contract. We're in. We see this low being taken out on NQ, and ES had like relatively that same low that we took out. If we see right here, when we had right here, this low. Ignore all these other lines because we did not take a play on ES today. We were just marking out levels of liquidity. But this low right here, this was the confirming a low on both indexes. It was like our second confirming low, basically, that said, okay, we can now add more contracts to this position. All right, so boom, added another contract, and now we're in for 2 contracts. All right, we're in for 2 contracts. We're targeting all the way, like, honestly, like down here for real, because we could have had a crazy dump today, but I think since we didn't have that news, we wanted to continue to push higher to take out even more highs before we had that low, and I think we're going to push over possibly even tomorrow. All right, so boom, we're pushing lower. We're in the trade. TP1 was at this external sell side liquidity, minor external sell side liquidity. We took it out. Boom, take 1. Now take profit 2. Our second contract. That's why it's important to have at least 2 contracts, bro. 1 at the start, and then 1 when you have another confirming point where you can enter in another contract. All right, so boom, we see another contract where we can put in, but we hit take profit 1. Now I put my other contract break even and profit, so I'm securing wins. I already secured my first one for the day. Now I'm securing partial wins. All right, it's all about trade management. This is why you don't set your trade and walk away and leave, because you have to, bro. Why would you set your trade and walk away and leave when this is your money you're playing with? This is your money you're playing with. If you have a job, trading is work. Trading is work. It's not a game. All right, it can be your hobby. It's not a game though. It's work. You're not going to sit here, place a trade, walk away, make your money. That's not how it works, bro. This shit takes work. All right, so trade management. Watching your trade, I set it at break even. All right, in profit. I dragged it to break even, and we were pushing lower. And then boom, we came up higher, and we got break even in profit. Who cares, bro? We still took a double in a day, and that's half the time what it's about. Taking your guaranteed profits. We took guaranteed profits at this external sell side liquidity. Push a little lower. We are trailing. We are in profit, floating in profit with that one runner, and then we got break even in profit. It's fine. All right, but that was our day. Honestly, it's all about literally just follow your model. I followed my model today. Tie in your discretion. See your results. You should play out every single time if you have a reputable model that you've been practicing. And me being the creator of my own model, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I know exactly what to look for. All right, so that's all she wrote. But that's to it. Every win, every loss, every break even, it's on you. And once you drill that into your mind, because once you drill that into your mind, you win. You win the game. You win the game of trading. Once you take accountability for every single thing that happens in trading, you win the game of trading. Every break even, every loss, every win, it's because of you. Journal that. Whether if it's a win, break even, no trading day, I don't care. Journal. Because you will identify every single scenario that plays out. And if you're journaling every single day, literally every single, I'm pretty sure statistically, if you do something for a certain amount of time, it's going to be secondhand nature. It's going to be secondhand nature. So that's all I really got for today. That was my trade recap. 2.5K in a day, bro. All glory to God. If you don't have a center, if you don't acknowledge a center to all of this, I cannot guarantee you that this will work. God has literally changed my life, changed my trading career, and everything, bro. Every aspect of my life has changed through God. Get right with Him. Read the Word too to understand. Pray to build that relationship. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow though. Great trade today. Peace, boys.